Happy Friday, Rachel Mallis.
Happy Friday.
It's so nice to get to bead with you again. Thanks for joining me to make some lovely earrings with us today.
I'm so excited. I missed you guys.
I know, likewise. I hope you are staying safe right now. I just heard about the flooding and the water, and
You
I don't
just
even
heard
know.
about it from me or from someone else?
No, someone literally right before class, Callan just said that there was some wild
It's
flooding
crazy.
happening at LaGuardia and everywhere.
Luckily, I have not left the house. Oh, LaGuardia, they just finished renovating that after like a billion years. That's gonna stink. They spent so long renovating it, like 10 years.
I know.
Oh my goodness. Things are
So
getting crazy.
it seems like you're okay right now.
I'm fine. Totally fine. The internet was spotty for like a second, but we're good.
Okay. And to everyone else out there, please stay safe. And we're thinking of you right now. Today's class is all about Briolette beads, which is Rachel Mallis' favorite, especially as someone who does a lot of wire work. I know you've always loved a Briolette bead. What do you think? What is it about a Brio that draws to you?
I think it's like, quite honestly, I think part of it is that I don't have to have a head pin for it. Back when I first started working with silver, the head pins are just like so much more expensive than getting them in any other metal. So the brios are like really exciting me because I didn't have to have a head pin. But I love.
What's the draw for people? Why would someone want to use like a Briolette bead in their design instead of say a round bead?
I think that the shape and the cut, like something about it is just luxurious. It makes the bead look more special because I mean, like round beads, you can get them anywhere, but and Briolette beads also, like, you wouldn't see them as much in like more mass produced stuff. It really adds like a handmade touch because they're not something that a machine can really wrap.
It's true. Yeah, it's it is kind of a signature of handmade jewelry. Will you tell folks about kind of how you approach design with Briolette bead? Because obviously the wrapping is a little different. What is the final result? Like, what's the difference there of like how the wrap holds a Brio bead versus a bead that has a standard drilling?
Can you rephrase the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I'm thinking about with the Brio bead is that there's some advantages to it of because we're doing wrap, we have a little bit more control over like how the bead is going to look in the final result and like how you can feature in pieces, because you feature them in a lot of your pieces and like in various types of wraps and in stringing. And so there's obviously a reason you're reaching for the Brio bead. And my hunch, if I'm going to answer my own question, is that my guess is that it's nice that you can the Brio, say you have a flat Brio bead drill through the top. Now you know that bead's always going to face the right way because you've told me in the past you like to control how the jewelry is going to look.
Everything. I like to control everything. Not just jewelry.
So my theory is that the Brio bead gives you some opportunity to to design with it in a way that is more you and how you want it to the piece to look.
Yeah, I feel like they look really pretty from every side, and I also feel like they really kind of go with everything. Like it's a good shape to put on everything. And also, as you'll see, what we're going to do today is a little bit different than your standard Brio wrap. I feel like there's a lot more variation in what you can do because you're already putting like a bunch of wire there. You've already got a bunch of wire near the top. So like it's very easy to just add on to it, make it a little bit more special.
Yeah, I can't wait for folks to see the 3 that you came up with today. And then we were talking about there's even so many more we could do. So I really hope folks walk away from
Jill is gonna come up with something crazy. I'm always so impressed by her. Jill Thistle.
Yes. She always makes from the classes. If you do make from today's class, post in Gem Chat and tag Rachel.
Please. I love seeing what you guys make.
Yeah. So
I'd
should we
love
jump
seeing how
in,
people take
Rachel?
the designs and reinterpret them. Yeah, let's jump in. Okay, give me one brief second. I'm just gonna flip you around.
Let's see who we got. Oh, Jill Fizzle's here in the comments. Jill says, don't be talking about me, Rachel Mallis.
Only bad things.
Lori says, hello to one of my favorite designers.
Hi, Lori. Lori is someone who has boosted my mood without knowing it on like some of the worst days. She is so sweet. She always says the nicest things to me. Okay.
Yeah, she's one of the sweet spirits of our community.
All right. Is this okay?
That looks good.
Okay, perfect. So these are the 3 different designs that we're going to be doing today. We're going to start with these. Is it focusing better there? Okay. We're going to start with these, which feature the calibrated brios Sam's had this month. Apparently they are hand cut. I just learned that. I don't listen a lot of the time, apparently.
Well, I didn't think I got into it because I was so obsessed with the fact they were calibrated, that they were so even in size. But yeah, it's still like a hand cut bead.
I thought they were machines.
Yeah, they're incredible. So we've had a bunch of these calibrated brios over the last couple months at the shop, and I'm working on getting a new batch because they went so quickly.
You still have a couple available on the website. I did see some earlier.
Definitely.
I think like 2 or 3 different ones. Not a huge stock, but
now that folks have them, I wanted them to get some inspiration today of like, how do I use all my brios now?
Right. Or how do I hoard all my brios now?
Not today. We're making today. We're not.
No, we're going to use 6 whole brios today, and then the rest I will hoard.
So which project do you want to start with today?
We're going to start with this one. Because the next one is a little bit of an evolution of this one. I love this design to create. I should have brought out my other earrings. It's like kind of an example of how I did this a little bigger. But this is a really great way to just add another bead right on top of a brio, especially if you're not very good at doing the top part of the brio. Adding another bead on makes something like there's something else for you to anchor to. So it's actually just like a little easier. So we are going to be using 26 gauge wire. You can fit 24 through the brios, but I usually like to do 26, and here's why. Because it's a lot easier to manipulate the wire when it's, what did I drop? When it's not like very snug in the bead. Brios especially, like the people comment how the holes are so small, but the space the hole goes in is so small. So there's really, if they put a bigger hole there, like it would shatter immediately. These calibrated brios actually have a great size hole though. Pretty big. So we're gonna start with a piece of wire, and I actually don't think I cut enough. I wasn't thinking. I think I was starting. No, actually I did. Okay, I'm gonna do like 8 inches, and then for the other one we do a little bit more. I always like to have a little extra wire. I think it's a lot harder to work with if you cut just what you need, because then you have to use your pliers.
Yeah, I'm always on the side of like, let's gonna give some extra wire.
If you cut a lot extra, then you can use it for another project. Like if you wanted to make little wraps, this amount is perfect for like one little wrap.
That's true. You're actually being thrifty.
Yeah, with my soft flex, I always cut so much extra. Because I don't like to build it on the spool. I like to be able to come at it from both sides. All right, so we're gonna start. I've got my brios, and then I'm gonna grab I have a bunch of like really beautiful check that Sam sent me. I'm actually gonna use one from one of the bead boxes. I don't remember which one, but these are 4mm. You sent me 3mm, which are gorgeous in the other design, but I think the 4mm is a little bit of a better size when compared to the Brio for this particular design.
Yeah, it has a nice balance there.
Okay.
And I was like, I could send Rachel more itty bitty gems, but like I already know she has a lot of them from the shop. So
I
I'll send her
would
some
never
to play with
say
you.
no. I would never be like, oh, you sent me more of these? Never.
Y'all should see Rachel's stash of itty bitty gem beads.
I need to buy more boxes. Okay, so here's what we're doing.
No way.
Yes, yes way, unfortunately. It's my proclivity to not use all of anything because I don't ever want to run out. So then I always have to buy more bead boxes because I have spaces taken up by one bead. Anyway,
bead.
Yeah, or like 5. I don't know. I had like one pyrite, like 2mm pyrite sitting in one of those containers. And I was like, all right, we're using this. Anyway, so let's get on with our project because I think Shira told us 5 minutes for talking, and we're definitely over that. Okay, so I've got my wire through the bead, and you can do this with your pliers, but I like to use my fingers. So I'm going to take both wires and kind of bend them at the tip of the Brio. And then I'm going to take the shorter wire, and I have a shorter one and a longer one. The longer one is much longer. The shorter one is just a couple inches. Actually, is that how I did this? Yes. Okay. So we're going to wrap just a little bit, just enough so that this wire isn't going to, you know, come undone. And then I'm going to get some cutters and cut it. And you don't need to do this because you're going to cover it up, but I'm going to just kind of shore it up a little bit. All right.
Why do we wrap exactly the same? Oh my goodness. Everything.
Because I showed you how I wrap.
I know. And I was like, this is the way to wrap. And I was like, oh, these are the exact steps I use.
The amount of Brio wrapping I've shown. Okay, so I put my bead on. It looks like a cute, it looks like the little, the like girl symbol. It's like a little dress. Okay, so we got the bead on. And then we are going to make our loop. I would say make your loop sideways, but honestly, this wire is so malleable that the loop is probably going to get twisted. So don't worry too much about what way it's facing. We'll twist it the right way at the end.
Okay.
So I'm going to bend it. So you've got your pliers. You make your little gap. You bend it. Then you come back over the pliers. And now I have my little loop. You see that? And then, oh my gosh, I never got to tell anyone this. I'm sure this is common sense, but this just occurred to me like a couple weeks ago. So for the longest time when I do my like little wraps, I've been holding onto them with my round nose, which is fine. But I tend to have a strong grip on things. And so it like create these little indents on my wire. And on something like 26 or 28 gauge, like that's a big deal. It's already really thin.
Yeah.
That's why people switch to their
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I was like, why do people do that? I'm just gonna stick with these. But
yeah, you don't mar your wire as much.
Stick to your chain nose. Sometimes the round nose are really good if you're like very light and trying to get into a tight spot. But all right, so we're making our wraps at the top, just like as if we were making a regular wire wrap. And then we're gonna come down. I call this a galaxy wrap because it sounds fancy, but you're just wrapping around the bead so you can see it. Yeah, it's really pretty. I'm gonna keep holding it with my pliers, but I'm gonna move down to the part that we just wrapped because it will just give me a little bit extra stability. You don't want to hold too hard. You're just keeping it in the pliers, and then you're just gonna wrap. What's nice, especially what I really like about this, is that because we've put the bead, we've already put like a little wrap there, and we put the bead on top of it. It creates a great seat to wrap the top of the brio. I find a lot of times with brios, like that first initial bit, just getting started going down the brio can be difficult sometimes.
Difficult,
you know what I mean? Yeah, up the top, and then it's like flopping around, and you're like trying to get it to stop. I should remember my own tips
do I
when that
understand,
happens.
Rachel.
Yeah. So we're just gonna keep going. Oh, you know what? Actually, I forgot I did this. On the first, no, I'm incorrect. I think I had 2 wraps on my other one. I think I went around and then around. Yeah, I did. We're undoing this. You can leave it actually and just go back up. You can leave it and go back up. But I just created another wrap around my bead. This is totally optional. And just added a little bit more wire to the top. And that way also I felt like it evened out the wire.
Will you give us a little close up? I think it's focusing more on your beads at the top of your screen.
Let me bring it back. I don't know why it's, go away beads. All right. Let's do the other one. All right, where is the wire? Okay. We're just doing 1 wrap on this one. You can play around with more wraps if you want. So, do that again. Brio. Can you see it okay now?
Yeah, I think it's focusing a little better. And then if you bring it close to the camera here and there, just so we can kind of check in where the wires are going.
So there's the brio. There's my wire that I bent. And then this is 26 gauge wire. We saw it at the same time. Okay, and then I'm gonna do my little wrap, just a little one. And snip it. And tuck. Sorry, my hands are like really shaky today. I'm not quite sure why. Okay. Then we are gonna put our 4mm. Dropped that one, so we're gonna put a new 4mm. Just all day. I drop so many beads all the time. I need to get like a sticky floor. Okay, so we put the 4mm on.
Sometimes you just have to say goodbye to the beads.
Yeah. And then we've got our pliers on, and we're going to make our 90-degree bend. And then we're going to just rotate our pliers up to the bottom or the top of that like 90-degree bend. And then we're going to pull our wire over. And then I tilt the pliers towards me to get my little loop. Then, oh, you know what I also found out? In your round nose pliers, all the way at the end, depending on your pliers, but on mine, they have like this flat part that I can use as like a little flat nose. But I like the chain nose better. But in a pinch.
Mine have that too.
In a pinch, it works great. Or if you're doing something that's a little bit less small. Okay, so we've got our wrap at the top, and then we're going to hold it, and we're coming back around. And we're going to start wrapping. And I'm just going slowly. But it should, because we created the base, it all just like goes so nicely. It like cascades on itself.
No, it has such a nice finished look to it.
Yeah. So when you're done with that, then you can, some people cut them close. They just cut them here, which is fine. I mean, it's an earring. But I like to go back up to the top. Not the tippy top, but this top, and wrap here. And then if you wanted to go back up now, you could also go back up if you wanted like two galaxy wraps. And you could add the extra wire up here and then cut it. or you could have cut it down there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're going up just a bit and securing it there.
Yes. So you can secure it down here. Ooh. Can you see that? So I took the bottom of the wire and I went up and I secured it. I would secure it right here, right at the bottom where the beads kind of meet. But I decided to make another little wrap. So I went all the way up and oh Lord, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna finish my loop. My loop actually.
I didn't mean to distract you.
Okay. So yeah, so I would have wrapped it here, but then I decided that I wanted another little wrap around this, and I went back up to the top. My camera and I are in a fight. I want it to be focused, and it doesn't want to be focused.
The new iPhones do not. They focus really differently.
Oh my gosh, I got this for the macro camera, and the macro camera is awful.
Yeah, it's not quite what I would have wanted.
All right, is that better? Can you see it a little better now? You see?
Yeah, I think we have a good sense of this earring. I think we should.
Okay, perfect. Let's go to the next one. And then you would put an ear wire on it. Sorry. Okay, so the next one. What?
No, I just love that. I love that as the final instruction.
The end.
The end. Ear wire done.
You're the weakest link. Goodbye. Okay, so we're gonna do the next one. This one is more wire. I'm gonna use my brass wire for this. I don't know why I decided to use 3 different metals for these earrings, but you can do it with any metal. Yeah.
You're just working being extra.
Yeah, these this is about 12 inches probably. Cut it a little longer if you want to. And then sorry, I'm just reminding myself how I did it.
So yeah, will you give us a close up of the one we're doing next?
Yes, let me get my fancy piece of paper. Okay, so we're actually going to start kind of the same way we started the other ones with, you know, the little initial wrap. And then we're going to go around, and then we're going to go around again. But while we're going around, we're also going to make the little loop. You see the little loop? Focus. Talking to this camera is like talking to my brain. Focus, focus, come on.
Yeah, I have no idea how this is one where I can't quite figure out how you did it, so I'm very curious.
Yeah, it's pretty easy, so I'm excited. So we've got 26 gauge wire again. That's kind of my magic number for brios. Like I said before, it just gives you enough room to play around with your wire and not worry about breaking the brio. So this is the gauge wire I used, right? I always question myself. I need to start writing things down.
Now you're doing 3 projects in one class.
I'll remember. No, you won't.
These are famous words I have told myself so many times.
I used to, in school, I was the worst. I wouldn't write down any of my assignments. I was like, I'll remember.
1 week later.
A really great B student. So yeah, so we started out the same way. Got a shorter end, longer end, bent. Then we're gonna do our little wrap to anchor it. Hello, please anchor.
Nancy said, "B train." Yeah, we're even getting a visit during class today.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, it must have been quiet. I don't know. It definitely went by. I don't know, maybe it wasn't as loud today. Next time it comes, I'll shout out at you.
Like when the bead train comes, somebody gets an extra mint in their package. They can have
Often it seems to time itself that usually like some sort of like deal is happening on the live sale when the bead train comes.
It's like it knows. It's like, gotta get those beads.
It's like, either it knows that something like rubies or something really special is being shown, or like the Sharpies are out and prices are getting slashed.
Slash. Okay. All right. So here's where we're at, and then I'm gonna bend this, like if we were pretending like we were gonna finish wrapping it, and then I'm gonna put. What time is it? Okay, we're good on time. I'm gonna put 10 of these gorgeous 3mm check beads. This is such a pretty color. I loved this color with the brass.
Yeah, definitely check out the 3mm check selection that we have. Rachel's been really working on it lately. So folks, definitely take a look at all that fire polish. A lot of bead weavers use the 3mm size pretty often.
All right, so then we are gonna wrap this in a very, very rough circular-ish shape. It doesn't really matter. As long as the beads like really don't have that much space in between them, you're fine. Because we're gonna fix it. So after you get to here, then you're gonna anchor it. And then I am gonna try to kind of, make this a little bit more circular. Doesn't have to be perfect right now. We'll fix it as we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my wire, and it's literally just like as if you were wrapping like little gems onto a hoop earring. That's the same way we're gonna do the wraps. And because we have the beads so tight, the wraps will kind of sit in between a little bit, sit on top a little bit, but they really strengthen the shape of the piece. So there's no like under thing, but look, when I like squeeze that, I've got to work to change the shape. So
That's
the
impressive.
extra wrapping,
26 gauge wire.
huh?
That's impressive for 26 gauge wire.
Right? I don't think it would work on a lot bigger of a design, but you could totally try it. I think it would be a lot more malleable. Okay, so we're gonna wrap. And
Let's wrap. Let's wrap. All right, show us Rachel Mallis wrapping technique, because there's details here.
My normal technique does not work great for this tiny of a hoop. So I know, it's such a bummer. My normal technique is I like get a little bit of the wire and I push through. But because this hoop is so small, it's like really work hardening the wire, and it makes it harder to work with. So I'm just gonna keep going around. I'm wrapping in between each little thing, each little fire polish. And I'm not doing my like normal 2 wraps. I'm just doing 1, if that makes sense. So you watch me again. So I'm going through the back. I don't know if you notice, go slow when you do these, and it'll help you keep your wire from kinking, because then you're able to kind of straighten it as you go. It's much less irritating to just go slow than it is to try and fix it after the fact.
Yeah. I'm doing some beading over here today. Just experimenting with yet more. It's like, I'm trying to like trying to smash some of your techniques together. I'm already not following the rules, so we haven't even finished class yet.
So this part is where it might get a little tricky, if it wasn't already. I feel like it's only really tricky because it's tiny. So once you get halfway, you're gonna wrap your anchor in between the beads. So it'll be like this. And then we're gonna make our loop. So come in with my roundness pliers. I'm getting as close to the beads as I possibly can, because I really don't need that much of a stem for this loop. Just has to be long enough to get my ear wire on there. Okay, so I'm going to bend. And I'm going to go back over, bend again, come in here with my chain nose, just making my little wraps. And then, so when I started this, I came from the front, or I came around this way, so we're gonna take my wire to the back. Like, you don't want to have your where you started and ended, you don't want to have on the same side. I don't know if that makes sense. So I'm like going around, and I went through this way and then over, so that's where my tail is. So I'm going to continue as if I never paused to do something else, and I'm going to keep going the way I was going.
Okay.
So don't change up the direction you are wrapping in at this point, because that would be really easy to do. But if you do that, then your loop is gonna get really crazy, and you're gonna be sad.
It will be a learning opportunity.
Yeah. But if you don't want a
sad.
learning opportunity, do what I said.
I keep maintaining direction, like with these sort of steps, like is something like that can be more challenging. Like kind of like thinking about how the wire is moving from one step to the next. Like
when I do the big hoops and I do the loops on the bottom, you have to keep going the same direction, and I hate it because I want them all to be on the same side, but you can't. Otherwise, this is not going to work.
Mm-hmm. Is this a design you had done before? Because like it's really creative to construct the loop like this, because it doesn't have its own
so I
frame.
made the first. So I had talked to Rachel about doing this, and I forgot we talked about this actually, because we also talked about the rough beads, and Shira had mentioned the rough beads to me like several times. And then I got these, and I was like, okay, Shira, what am I supposed to be doing? And she was like, remember you showed Rachel that picture? And I was like, oh, that was so long ago. Yeah, totally. So the picture was basically this, but this doesn't take that long. So I was like, I got to come up with something else. And it's got to be more complicated than that. So, all right. So I am just about back to the beginning. I think I'm going to go through one more time.
I like that we're doing like 3 somewhat simpler designs. Like they're things you can win.
I thought they were so sweet, because a lot of the time, like, I love my huge earrings. I really do. But a lot of the time people are like, I want smaller earrings for my granddaughter, or I need smaller earrings for work, or I don't like larger earrings. So I feel like it's a little bit trickier to make something intricate yet also pretty small. These are so light too, like so light. Okay, so we're back at the beginning, and we're just gonna finish our brio wrap. So go down the brio, and come back up. My brio wraps on my examples are a little bit more messy, but I know that kind of stresses people out sometimes. So if you're having trouble getting, because I have a lot of wire right here in beads, but I really want my wire to like kind of click in so that I can cut it off and feel like it's not going to go anywhere. You just use your pliers and pull. I know some people wrap with pliers, and it actually works wonderful to wrap with pliers, but I cannot get myself to do it.
Yeah, we've always just done hands only.
Yeah. So here we go. It's a little baby.
I'm just a baby. Oh, it's so cute. That feels like a design you could make like dozens of color combinations of.
Yeah, and there's so much you could do. Literally, all you have to do is change out the fire polish, and you get one strand of the calibrated brios, and I think you get like 12 of them, maybe. maybe.
Yeah, you get like 6 pairs of earrings from that.
Yeah, you get 12. Yeah, I was right. Yay. So there's that. And are we ready for the next one?
Yeah,
The next one's
absolutely.
really easy.
Yay.
It's a little bit it's a little bit tricky. The trickiest part is this little loop up here. But other than that, it's very easy. So I'm going to grab my Softflex, and for this, the Softflex actually fits the hole pretty tight. What color did I use? I used black. This is not the right one. Give me 1 second. I sat down at my desk earlier and I was like, okay, we're going to take out everything we need. And then I took out nothing. And I went and ate a yogurt that I had left on the counter after I took the lid off of it and forgot about it.
Well,
yeah,
at least you found some
familiar?
food. It sounds familiar.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get our beads on here. The size of the earring will really just depend on how many beads you put on, which is totally up to you. So I'm gonna just recreate this exact design. These are all 3mm fire polish. And we've got one of these. And like I said, this is medium Softflex, so it's the 49 strand one.
Yeah.
That wasn't meant to come out as a question. I know for sure it's 49 strands. I don't know the millimeters, but I know for sure it is 49 strands.
I believe it's 0.018 or 9 or something on
you know what? I have the spool right next to me, and I definitely it says it on.
Indeed.
It's 0.19. Yeah.
Woo!
So.
And that's 0.019 inches.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. 0.48 millimeters. Okay,
yeah,
where am I at?
That's a good size. So you got the medium to go through those brios? That's impressive.
Yes, the hole is such a nice size on these calibrated brios. I don't know on a regular brio that a check brio you totally would be able to get this through the hole, but a regular stone brio you might not be able to. You might have to use the fine Softflex, which is fine. It'll work for that, but I just wanted the stiffness of this one a little bit more. I felt like I strung way more than 5 beads. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. I felt like I was almost done, and I'm not in the middle. All right.
I'm so excited to show you my earrings.
I'm excited to see them. I love to see variations that people do to things, like spins on design, because I feel like you get used to doing things one way, and then and you don't think of doing it another way until you see someone else doing it, and you're like, that's amazing. I missed a bead. So my rule on wire not being super tight in the brios doesn't really matter as much here, because we're not actually like wire wrapping it. We're not really manipulating it. It's just going to be chilling. It's just going to be hanging there like a bird on a wire.
Bird on a wire.
Yeah, it's not getting manhandled. So
it sounds like we're not electrocuting birds on wires, and we're not manhandling today.
Yeah, not doing any of that.
A+.
Is it okay if I answer a couple questions while I'm doing this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So the fine Softflex style, I actually use it all the time. I actually use it more than the medium one, which when I first bought it, I really didn't think I was going to. But especially with the Indian cut gems, it just makes your pieces flow more smoothly when the holes are smaller, because the wire's smaller. So the piece just it has a nicer drape. And then also there was we've done several designs where I've used fine Softflex. Fine Softflex. vocal coach on TikTok, and she's like, when you mess up and you make like those sounds, it does help you like recalibrate your tongue. So, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so we have, and I think I have an example of these right here. Maybe, yes, no. We taught a class, one of our double drill classes. I know Sam had some double drills in the shop recently. Where? I have picked up these earrings 8 times in the last couple days, and now I can't find them. Here they are. This design, this uses fine soft flex.
Yeah, that's a folks can find that class on the YouTube channel. You go back into the archive.
I make those all the time. They're so light too. They're perfect like gifts. Especially if you put opals on them, because it's fine soft flex, so the opals fit. Okay,
nice.
So this is where we're at, and I'm gonna cut it. Let me get my other pliers. I just heard beads rolling, and I'm like, where did that come from? Okay. Then we are going to put our crimp on that I didn't get out.
So you're using a 2mm crimp tube there?
Yes, this is a 2mm crimp tube. And I'm sliding it all the way down. Nope, I'm not. Hang on, I did it a different way. Ignore the last 1 minute. So instead of sliding it onto both of them like I just did, we're gonna slide it on like it's another bead on the strand, and then I'm gonna go through it like it's another bead on the strand with the other wire, if that makes sense. So this part's a little tricky, especially when your hands are shaking. But all right.
Take your time. But it sounds like that's really gets a nice round.
Yes, this is the trickiest part. Okay, that tail is gonna. This tail is technically long enough, but I would prefer it longer just in case. Just in case it slips at all, then it doesn't come out. Oh, it's not going anywhere. I can't even pull on that. Okay. What I really like about using the soft flex one for is that I know 3 strands of this will fit through the crimp bead. And if you were initially, I was going to use the magical crimper pliers, which is why I wanted 3 strands to fit through. But then I realized these are earrings and it's my rules. So we're gonna go up and over, and we're gonna like see if we can like sneak this wire back through there. It's possible. You just have to get where the wires are not intersecting. They're like, don't, you're not allowed in here. You can't sit with us. Come on, buddy.
So how many strands are going to be ultimately going through there?
Just 3.
Okay.
And it's coming out the other side. It's fighting me. It's not usually this difficult, y'all. My hands are just shaking really bad. Okay.
No
so
rush.
I've got the little tail through, and I'm gonna pull it. And you really shouldn't have to form your loop basically as tight as it. This is like as tight as I can get it, unless I like really want to mess with it. So you just want to make sure that your other tail is tight, so your circle is round. I love this loop. I was so proud of myself when I did this. I was like, look, now I don't have to figure out how to connect it. And then this is the best part. So number 1, there's 3 strands in here. They're not going to go anywhere. Number 2, I don't always like to just flatten crimps because I don't feel like it's as secure. But this I keep saying number 1 like over and over again. Number 3000, we are going to smash this, and it's an earring, so it's not going to be getting the normal tension a necklace would get, which is why I'm like totally comfortable smashing them. I love to smash the crimps on earrings because it's so much easier to get in that tight space. So we should have Jesse here to say smash, because you know he's like slash it, and he'd be like smash it. But I'm gonna smash it, but I'm gonna do it very carefully because my pliers are very close to my beads. Okay.
And is there a reason why someone couldn't just do a standard crimping here?
It's gonna be hard with the loop to keep it how it is. It'll be hard. It would be really hard if you're folding the wires this way and that to figure out, like, I can't even wrap my mind around how I would get the loop to still be at the top, if that makes sense. So I'm going to come in with a good pair of flush cutters. Usually I like to use junky flush cutters on my soft flex, but for this I really like to get a close snip. And I try to just like pull everything I can kind of out of the way, just so I don't accidentally cut anything else. I got these. You should get these from. I got these from Softflex, but you should carry these, Sam, because I thought when I first got them, I was like, these are way too huge for tiny wires. Because you know I work with small wire a lot. Yeah. They're actually awesome for tiny wires. They fit in such small spaces, and it's so surprising because I feel like I have an easier time with them than I do with these, which you would think these would be easier.
Yeah, they're probably pretty sharp now too.
Yes, like they're newer. Since I don't really use them on Softflex very much, they're very sharp. I don't remember who said. I think Sarah Ayler said that the Softflex will dull your flush cutters after a while, and yeah, I didn't want to test that. I just believed her. So you'll have noticed I've used 3 pairs of flush cutters because I have the pair I usually use for tiny, these which I usually use for heavier gauges, and then I have a junky pair that I literally use for everything else: opening boxes, cutting my Softflex, cutting cord. Let me tell you, if you're not cutting cord with flush cutters are great. I cannot get this. Hands will not stop shaking. What is going on today? There we go. Beautimous. And then you just put your ear wire on it.
They're so. I love the mix of colors you have on there too. It's such a nice like bright, nice feel earring.
I'm pretty sure. No, you're out of these. I think you have the smoky quartz ones though. And you could totally do this with gems too. Like the little gems. You might have to do the fine Softflex depending on the gems you use, but you could totally put little gems in there, little gemmies. Should I flip back to me now?
Designs. What do you say?
Do you want me to flip back to me now?
Sure. Let's see. We actually have like about 5 to 10 more minutes. Let me swap my camera around here. I can show you what I've been tinkering with. Oh, I don't even have all my lights on. Hold on.
Lumos.
Oh, it's so nice to have a Harry Potter loving friend. These are what I did during class. My goal was just to put like a couple seed beads on them, and then I did all the seed beads.
Trees. I love it.
It was really fun. They're not super hard. I really like when people just do like a couple seed beads as an accent in their wraps. But I did this one first, but then I didn't. It wasn't enough. It was like too small. Right. So I went.
You could also like attach that to another bead, and then it'd be like a very unique brio in itself. I'm trying to find. I had the pair that initially inspired this class. I'm not sure where I put them.
So I figured if we have time here, I was going to show folks kind of the basic construction here.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
just now that Rachel's already filled your head with 3 ideas, here's a 4th. I do the start of the wrap basically the same way that Rachel does. I'd like to do 2 wraps to secure my short wire, and then I've gone ahead and loaded on 4 seed beads, and I kind of use that as the base for all the wrapping, just to give myself a little bit more to wrap around.
Mm-hmm.
I went ahead and folded my wire 90 degrees or so. No one's measuring. And then, those bead here. I'm gonna go ahead and make my wire wrap a loop, or at least the start of it. Okay. So like theoretically, yes, you could end there. This is kind of a similar flow from the very
and
first
you could also do the like galaxy wrap I did earlier on it too.
Yeah,
might be a little trickier, but
this is basically the steps is essentially the same as what Rachel showed in the first pair, and then from there is where these deviate. So what you want to do is this is our Miyuki mix that Rachel made for the September box, and so I'm just going to go ahead and load on a bunch of these. Basically, I can just prep it by putting on a whole bunch at once, and we can then use them bit by bit.
I'm going to let you finish, but the Wonderland box mix was the best box mix.
Say again?
I said, I'm going to let you finish, but the Wonderland box mix was the best box mix.
Well, it was a wonderful box mix.
I know. I was making a 2009 VMAs joke.
Oh, you were going for like a Kanye moment?
Yeah, that was my Kanye moment.
Does that make me Taylor?
I love Taylor Swift, so that would be like the highest compliment I could give you. Well, probably not the highest compliment I could give you, but it is a high compliment coming from me.
I would take that. Okay. Rachel Mallis compared me to Taylor Swift today.
Indirectly.
And then it also means that you made your seed bead mix Beyonce.
I'll take it.
You could be Queen Bee.
No shade on Beyonce, because Beyonce's amazing too. We don't like Kanye, but Beyonce and Taylor are awesome. What size beads are you using?
These are an 11-0 Miyuki round. I don't even know exactly. I kind of every time I do these clusters, I do it however I feel and however many beads I feel like. But I've gone ahead and loaded on a chunk. And then key step here is you need to make sure they don't come off during this process. You need to secure off the end of your wire. I'm using a German style 24 gauge. I found with some of these brios that these brios do not quite like 24 gauge all the time. Especially if there's like a
it almost sounds like what I was saying earlier.
So we are proving Rachel Mallis' point in action here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get my wire going. I'm going to wrap it a couple times and bring it to about the middle.
Bring it around town.
And from here, there's literally, I do this different every single time. So I usually like to do like a few beads at a time. And getting it started is always going to be the hardest part.
Yeah, it's the trickiest. You could also, where you wrapped the stem in the middle, you could also put like, if you put a 4mm fire polish there just to like for stability, you could totally just wrap on top of it with the seed beads too.
Yeah. You definitely could have done a more sturdy. I just did the seed beads because like that's what I was already had at hand, but the 4mm would like probably make this easier. What I'm doing is I'm intentionally keeping most of my seed beads out of the way because I actually want some of my wire to be exposed. So I'm just kind of adding in a couple at a time. And just kind of following.
Oh, you're not on screen. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to tell you that.
Thank you.
I had just accepted it. Like I was like,
just imagining what I'm doing.
The camera and you still keep pulling it off screen.
Oh my gosh! It's not my It's not my area of expertise.
We thought I was going to be the problem.
Well, I'm Taylor Swift. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. See?
At tea time. Do we have any Swifties here? I'm an OG Swiftie. I'm not one of the crazy ones. I don't care about that football player.
Yeah, I don't even know that. I don't even know what that
I was
means.
like, who even is that? Like all over the news. I'm like, I don't care. I love her.
See,
I care about her music. I don't care about, like, she can have her personal life. Leave her alone.
I've actually no idea what you're talking about. Is this the person she's dating most recently?
Yeah, she's dating a well, unconfirmed. She's hanging out with a football player for the Chiefs, which is football.
So here I'm finishing up the wrap. I want to hear from the end of the story, but I want to keep folks up to date.
Oh no, that's all the story is. She's hanging out with this guy, and people are going crazy.
Kimberly says, "Ask Sarah Lovecraft who that football player is." So just for like the nice little added touch, because we are on a Brio bead, we get the opportunity to get to wrap onto it, and I love the look of Brio wrap, so we still get to do that. And I also tend to follow what Rachel Mallis does. Is I like to bring it around the front, so you have that. It's a little bit more subtle than accent on a design like this because there's all this going on as well. But then I kind of just follow where there's room for the wire and eventually can find a place to kind of tuck it in under the other wraps.
Oh, you did I didn't even realize that. Well, I don't know if it's my hack. I'm sure I didn't come up with it. But when you strung all the beads on the wire, you made a wrapped loop on the end so they didn't all fall off.
I'm confident that came from you at some point.
Yeah, I came up with that because I was bending the wire end and it kept getting caught on things. And when you do the wrap loop, it doesn't. So you just make the tiniest wrap loop you can, and then your beads aren't going anywhere.
And
Beautiful.
Now that I have 3,
you should put those on your little Christmas tree this year.
The world's smallest Christmas ornaments.
Yes.
Now that I have 3 of them, I could just make it into a little necklace for myself.
Yeah, or like a charm bracelet.
I know. I was starting to construct some other beads here. So all these could theoretically be linked together for a little bracelet.
We have a lot of football fans in the comment. I'm so sorry. I'm not very good at sports. Not good at any
put my
sports.
Camera around.
I really don't know who most people are in general. Like, just in general. I know who, like, Taylor Swift is. But,
do you know who Taylor Swift's dating, Rachel?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
It's all over the
Okay, I found the earrings, so let me show you these really quick.
Yeah, there's a lot of Chiefs fans in my family. All right, what do you want to show us, Rachel?
I want to show you the original design that that inspired this, well, I guess. So like I was saying, you can use a bigger bead here. But this is actually also another 4mm bead. It's a Swarovski crystal. And then I have the round brios. So you can do it with the round brios too. And the moonstone. I think I got these from you like 5 years ago.
Wow. Those are pretty.
But the bees are definitely from you.
Pretty. Yeah. Oh, that's such. So you use it as just a little design element there.
Yeah, it's just like the perfect little end dangle. Like you can add them. They'd be beautiful on a hoop if you added them as dangles on a hoop. It's really versatile. It's just like a little bit of a bigger brio.
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch.
Oh, this is so great. Well, I hope folks got some ideas for using the brios because I know folks probably have a good between their gems and check probably have a good amount of brios to play with already in their stash potentially. Thank you so much for bringing these design ideas to us, Rachel Mallis.
Thank you all for being here. That was so fun.
I think, Laura, if you find some of the old classes, Rachel's definitely demoed the ear wires at least a few times.
And I sent Sam a class of me making the ear wires that's somewhere on his computer 2 years ago.
That's probably true. You guys want a really belated release of the ear, because it was a refilming of the earwire video we did years back where we didn't know we were doing yet and you can't see anything.
Yeah. But I did make it. And there's I think the last class I did with you, we did a really quick ear wire too.
Yeah, I know Rachel's shown them in some of the classes we've done, just as a little bonus. So definitely go search Rachel Mallis Bead Shop, and you can see all our past classes together. We have quite the collection over the last 3 years.
And I finally, on my YouTube, which I have no idea what the URL is, I finally like made a playlist of all those videos that I'm in. I'm like, classes with me.
Oh, that's
people started following me on YouTube when I would comment, and I was like, all right, I guess I should make this look better.
Cool. So go look up, is it what's the YouTube channel called?
I have no idea. Mally Jewelry, probably. Let's see. I actually made it with the wrong email address too. It's called Rachel's Channel. Maybe this is the wrong one. This is the wrong one. Hang on. I told you I did it with the wrong email, and now I don't know which one it is. And the only way I can tell is if I log into the right one, and it looks different.
Well, why don't you share the link in Gem Chat for us, and we can go support you there. We're out of time today, so
okay.
whatever. Eventually, you should just make it like Mally Jewelry, because that's your beautiful name.
I'm pretty sure it is. I just don't know what email address it's under.
Okay, well, we'll find it. We're gonna sign off for now, Rachel.
All right, thank you, everyone.
I love you dearly.
Love you too.
Have a great weekend, everyone, and share what you make in Gem Chat so we can see.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good one.